The World Bank Group has announced a major financial pledge of $1.8 billion for countries in the Horn of Africa to boost economic growth, reduce poverty, and spur business activity. The pledge came October 27th on the first day of a joint three-nation visit to the region by World Bank Group President Jim Young Kim and United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon. The visit to Ethiopia, Kenya and Somalia will build international support for peace and development efforts in the region. It will also solidify a commitment made by the World Bank Group, the UN and other development organizations to jointly tackle insecurity and poverty in Africa.
Like in previous trips that I've taken with Secretary General, we come with a package of support for 8 different countries. And this money will support economic growth, will support the country's ability to invest in their people through health education, social protection programs. And very specifically, we're going to try to help boost business activity and encourage investment so that the jobs can be created for the young people.
Dr. Kim and Mr. Ban are joined by representatives of the African Union, African Development Bank, European Union Commission, International Authority on Development, and the Islamic Development Bank. Lack of services like healthcare and basic education, too few jobs, and ongoing border disputes are fueling conflict within and between countries in the Horn of Africa. As a result of the violence and of frequent drought, more than 7 million people have been displaced, and more than 2.5 million are refugees.
We're in the Horn of Africa because the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, and I share a belief that peace and development have to go together. What we understand is that when societies are peaceful, they can grow. But also we know that only when there are jobs, when there's social protection, when there's health care, when there's a good education, can you really have hopes for a long and sustained peace.
Conflict, uncultivated farmland, and trade barriers that restrict the flow of goods and services between countries have led to high food prices and hunger for many people in the Horn. This joint visit by the World Bank Group President, UN Secretary General, and other leaders follows 2 earlier joint visits to sub-Saharan Africa. In November 2013, the leaders visited Africa's Sahel region. During the visit, the World Bank Group pledged $1.5 billion in regional investments to support social safety nets, infrastructure, and other development priorities. Since the pledge, the bank's board of directors has approved a first batch of projects for the Sahel Initiative, totaling more than $300 million for water resources development, agricultural productivity, hydropower development, and women's empowerment. The bank group has also approved $800 million in guarantees to support electricity trade between Mauritania, Mali, and Senegal. A May 2013 visit by development leaders to Africa's Great Lakes region committed $1 billion to support countries in the region in addressing key economic challenges. The money will help increase access to energy, remove barriers to trade, and support integrated agricultural productivity. The commitment also includes support to vulnerable groups, including women and displaced people. To date, the World Bank Group has approved nearly $540 million for hydroelectric development, ICT connectivity, and health and counseling services for survivors of sexual and gender-based violence in Burundi, DRC, and Rwanda. The program will benefit more than 640,000 women and girls. Preparation for the remaining Great Lakes and Sahel Initiative projects are on track to be delivered by 2016.
On our last 2 trips, we pledged billions of dollars in the Great Lakes region and the Sahel, and we're already seeing the fruits of our work together. It was a novel idea when we first took the trip to bring the peace process together with development, but already in the Great Lakes we're seeing joint projects that we think will both boost the economies and help to sustain the peace.